welcome to another episode of Galaxy Gardens. My name is Chrissy, and today Greg and I will be planting in our garden. We're finally in the garden. We're doing some stuff. I'm actually recording this after we did everything, so you can kind of see the final result here. I'm going to talk about it right away, and we're also going to be messing around with our strawberries, which is pretty cool. So let's go check it out, and I'm very excited to show you what we're working on. So Greg has in his hand our first potato. These are the all blue, and they did amazing. They chitted out. This is honestly a really good length. Could go a little longer than this, like I said, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but right there, that's the sweet spot. I'll show you what the other ones look like as well. These ones are the Pinto Gold, and we're a little bit rushed, so you can see some of them don't have quite as much as other ones. I wasn't as diligent about spinning them around on the heater, but those look pretty good too. Here are the Adirondack Reds, and those are about as much chitted out as the all blue. And then fortunately our Baltic Roses are on the slower side. We're gonna plant them anyways, so you can see they all do have eyes coming in. They'll just grow a little bit slower, like it started a little bit slower than the others. I'll show you how we're gonna plant these. It's pretty easy. So Greg, you have that one. So when you're doing potatoes, usually what's recommended is you plant them about 1 foot apart from each other. But we didn't do that. I think last year we fit like, what, 12 just in this 3x3 space, which is pretty intense. And now we have these whole ones. We're not cutting them up this year, and we're gonna space them out. So I don't know how many we have, but how do you feel about putting like 6 in this 3x3 area?
You could probably just do them like this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Just nestle them in there a little bit.
Yeah, we could fit 9 in.
You gonna do 9?
Yeah. That way we'll get use out of most of them.
So last year we pretty much did this formation, but then we also fit in like a lot of other ones. If I can find the photo, I'll add it in. But we're just nestling them into the soil, and then we're gonna top it with straw. So I'll show you what it looks like when we have all of them. Now if you've ever grown in the ground or in containers, you'll know that this is typically way too close for potatoes. But we really like high intensity planting. It's worked well for us. The potatoes, especially with the room they have like this, they're gonna have plenty of room. And we're gonna put the straw on top. It's gonna work great. This is how we do it if you're doing it at home. Definitely space them out about 1 foot from each other. And I think I forgot one item. So using sulfur, and it helps increase the acidity of the soil. You're gonna put a little bit underneath, a little bit on top, and that helps them out. So we're gonna go through, do it to all of them. We're gonna go plant the rest of our potatoes, and then maybe we'll show you what it looks like. Isn't that cool? So if you don't have super acidic soil, your potatoes can develop scab, which I think is a bacterial issue, and bringing the acidity down helps reduce the chances of that. It just gives them, you know, an extra chance to be healthy, come out good. Scabbing doesn't really make your potatoes taste any different. It just changes, you know, the texture on the outside, but it looks good. All right, sulfur added, and you want to put the straw on? You're gonna cover it up. and spread it out for now. We'll add more straw on top. We have some more hanging around. You want to do at least a few inches of mulch of your potatoes. Add some more if you see any peeking out so they don't turn green from the sun. But otherwise, I don't worry about helling them up. This is what we did last year. It worked great. Yeah. I'll grab some more. So I have 2 filled over there. This one I just dusted. We're using this sulfur for the first time. So although I do back our planting method, we'll see how the sulfur does because we never used that before. So if you're gonna do the same thing, maybe wait to see how we do with the sulfur. Otherwise, if you're already used to it, go for it. And then Greg's finishing up here. Those look so good. So this year I only bought 20 pounds of potatoes, where last year I bought 40. And I think 20 pounds is where it's at because we didn't end up with too many left over, and we still filled up a whole extra bed than what we did last year. Okay, for recording purposes, this bed is Baltic Rose, Adirondack Red, all blue, Pinto Gold. Nice. I'm honestly pretty impressed with my good decision-making skills in the fall. I ordered our seed tubers in November. And so last year we got 40 pounds and I had about 4 times easily, if not more, as many tubers left over last year as I do right now. So this is pretty good. I know at least one person will take these and we'll find another spot to plant the rest. Next up, we're planting onion sets. These are pretty easy. I'm watching a lot of videos on them. Which one do you want to start with?
Everbearing.
All right. So from everything I read online, I'll give you a handful. Everything I read online, we're gonna just pretty much take them and push them in and leave them like half sticking out, leave the top sticking out. And we're gonna plant them 3 to 4 inches apart. So it's just like the garlic, you do the pointy side up and then the root side down. Does that look like 4 inches?
Yeah.
But we want to give them room to grow. Most people recommend to kind of lay them out before you push them in, but we're losing daylight, so we're just gonna straight up put them in here. These are also gonna get some mulch. Yeah, picture row. These look cute. Yeah. Red Baron onion. That's what we got.
Still a bunch of them in here.
Fine spots. I mean, you have a wicked spaced out too. I think this is easier than planting the starts.
It's way easier than planting starts. You don't have to deal with the tangled up roots.
Yeah.
That's the biggest pain in the butt.
Spread out the roots. Thank you.
There's not that many, but there's probably like 10 more.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll fit somewhere else, Fred. Well, these onion sets are cool. Just kind of plant them half in so the bulb has room to grow, and supposedly they root out pretty fast and they'll grow in.
Some of these ones are already sprouting.
Oh. Cool. Yeah, so some people feel like if you plant sets, all you're gonna get is green onions because they're in their second year of life and blah blah blah, they'll go to seed. I'll probably let some of them go to seed so I get the seeds. But I've been finding like 50-50 evidence for and against using sets, and I already bought them, so I think they're gonna be great because I'm giving them that good energy to grow well. And we're just gonna put a light amount of straw over them, nothing serious. We're not watering them in. We're gonna get rain soon, so they get to live with our garlic. Okay, so Greg, what kind do you have? Is it the snowball?
Mm-hmm.
Snowball white onions. And these are getting planted down the middle. You can see I made a little barrier here because somehow we're fitting 8 tomato plants in the rest of this area. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's gonna be fine because, you know, 9 times out of 10, if you think something's gonna work, it's more likely to work than not. Right?
I guess.
Behavioral management. With some good planning. As you know, I plan and plan again. And then we actually put the rest of the red ones along the edge of this bed here, which if you remember is gonna be all greens and okra eventually. But it'll be a-okay. So if you go on Google or any other search engine, it will recommend you not to plant onions alongside garlic because there's similar pests and like bacteria, viruses that may impact both of them. So if like one of them gets it, the other one definitely will. I'm not worried about that because we're gonna plant them together. It's not like we're gonna plant them together every single year. Our beds are pretty healthy, and any issues you might get, you're probably already gonna get because of where you live and what's around you. We have a ton of farms around us. So like when we were here first year last year planting potatoes, immediately got potato beetle. And you know, that's just from having farms around us. So we're gonna plant them together and it's gonna be good. And onions are actually a good companion plant to tomatoes. So more you know. All right, we got those in, they look great. I did the perimeter here. And then we're gonna use up the rest of the snowball doing the perimeter here. I just looked up. That's gonna be something, and then okra.
Carrots, right?
No, that's this other one. This one's gonna be carrots, which I'll plant this week. And then I'm gonna put okra in. And then I think this one's gonna be beans and okra. Either way, everyone's getting a perimeter. Yeah. Honey, what do you like planting better, potatoes or onions?
They're pretty similar, but I guess if I had to pick onions.
Onion sets or starts?
Sets are way easier. We'll see if they're as good. That's the real
They look
test.
cool.
But if they are anywhere near as good, then I would definitely, my vote is to do sets because this is way easier.
Yup. Now I still have the onions growing inside in our winter sown ones.
We got a couple left of these, but
I like them.
Just hold on to them, I guess.
There's some room around the garlic. We can just throw it. This garlic is like in a diamond formation because I just decided to do that. So we have some room around it. I don't think we'll plant this other bag. I messed up on about 2 white onions. That's okay. White onions last longer. I'll plant these tomorrow, and some of them are sprouting, but we'll do it with the strawberries. You can see our happy garlic waking up. Sometimes you'll see stuff like this where they'll just get a little tangled in each other. That's okay. Love when garlic sprouts. So you'll see this get darker and darker It's really normal at the beginning of the season to see some yellowing. That's all right. They're gonna get some fertilizer soon. They don't really need it because there's so much compost in here. But we'll give it some organic, nitrogen-rich fertilizer, which you can do right now. You definitely don't want to do it at a later point, but you know, right when they're coming up in the early spring, that's fine. Then we had some extra space around them, so I put the rest of our snowball onions here, and we're just gonna, just like we did with the garlic, just lightly cover it with mulch. So I'll go through all the rest of our onions and do the same. Unlike the potatoes, which got a thick layer of mulch that got about 4 inches worth, this is just getting a light amount. We want the sun to go through. We just want to give it a little help when it rains to keep the moisture in the soil, because onions love a lot of water. So you can see right there, it's poking through. So that's all we're gonna do today. Tomorrow we're gonna plant the rest of our onions with our strawberries and plant our new strawberries. So I'll be right back when we do that. All right, so yesterday we got all of our potatoes planted and most of our onions. So let's start on our strawberries. We have a June bearing one, so hopefully they'll grow fast enough we'll get some in June. If not, we'll get them next year. So I just picked these up from a big box store, took them out, and we're gonna soak these for about 20 minutes before we plant them, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I just dumped these in the sink. They're bare root. You can see that they're bound with the rubber band. I'll take them apart. Okay, so this is what they look like when you take them apart. Sometimes I've gotten these and they're already sprouting, or maybe the roots are going. So you have the two main parts here. We have the roots down at the bottom and we have the crown at top. So we're just gonna be soaking the roots here. So I'm gonna put them in a cup and leave the crowns hanging out. So that's it. We have them soaking just the roots. We have the crowns above the water line. I'll leave these for about 20 minutes and then we're gonna take them and bring them outside. I don't know if you can see in there, I just went to check on our tobacco. You know, those little brown and white ovals are the seeds that have germinated. They look awesome. Also, you see those roots coming out? That's our triticale. It's already sprouted. So cool. No rice yet, but it's on its way. Looks great. If you remember our seedlings that we started to harden off, this is the first afternoon I'm putting them directly in the sun. They've been in the sun for a little over an hour now, and no signs of drooping, which means that we've been hardening them off effectively. And the afternoon sun just isn't as gnarly as during the day, so those look awesome. Welcome back to our strawberry patch. As you can see, the larger winter leaves that were on the strawberries have kind of blown away. That's all right. The crowns are healthy, they're growing, and to give them an even better start, we're going to plant our white Ebenezer onions around them. They're good companion plants for the strawberries, and they help keep certain rodents away. So rabbits don't like them, squirrels don't like them, mice don't really like them. And last year I noticed with our strawberries, every now and then we'd get one with little, chomp on there from some critter. So anything to help. We are gonna put a fence around all three of these beds, but in the meanwhile, let's plant some onions. And this is a great sunny spot during most of the summer, so the onions are gonna do very well here also. So you can kind of see where all the strawberries are coming up. For example, we have one here, we have some here, We lost a couple over there, that's okay. These are gonna put out runners this year and we'll grow some more. Out of the ones we planted last year, not every single one survived anyways. And this is our Seascape Everbearing strawberry. So this one's definitely a slower grower than our White Carolinas. The White Carolinas just put out runners left and right. So I'm gonna do a perimeter around and then spaces in between the strawberries, leaving big spaces where I want, you know, new plants to go open. And I'll transplant those strawberries as they grow into those areas, or at least guide the runners to kind of fill in these gaps. So I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, you can see I went all the way down, around, and back. We did like sort of, you can see there's one there and one here, and then we put a couple in the middle here. So not quite enough to make a grid, but enough to go around. Yeah, that's a better view for this middle one. So I almost want to go back to the store and buy a couple bag of yellow onions, since I didn't end up buying any of those, and put some there and put some over there. I'll think about it while we're out of town. In the meanwhile, let me go grab our crowns. It's been about 20 minutes. And we'll plant them. I don't know how well you can see that, but I just took our soaking bare root strawberries and just kind of tossed them on top here. We have 10. So I did 3 rows of 3 and then an extra one. I like to lay them out before I put them out. You want to space them about 12 to 18 inches apart because they will spread when they grow. I have my marker here, and I use an alcohol marker on these. It lasts all year, and if it fades I could still kind of see what it says next year, and I'll just write over again. So it's Juneberry. Fingers crossed we'll get some in June. It should take about, I don't know, 3 to 6 weeks for them to start showing leaves above ground from when we get them in. So fingers crossed it works. So let's see how well you can see this as I'm doing it. So we have our bare root here. As I said, you have a couple parts. You have the crown and you have the roots. So it's a little dry. There's some crumbly soil I probably should have sifted through before I put out. It's all right. Let's just do that. All right, so we're gonna make a little space all around here. Perfect. And if you remember from our other video, there's all compost under here. So next thing, you have your crown facing up, roots down. You're gonna take the roots, and you're gonna do your best to try to spread them out. So when you're done, it kind of looks like a little squid or a little octopus. You're gonna spread them out best you can. I wouldn't be too nitpicky about it. Okay, like that looks just fine. Okay, and then you're gonna backfill your soil, preferably not super dry soil. This is why we use mulch. All right, so we have our crown right here. Can't see it too well. We have our soil backfilled. It's gonna be standing up straight. We're gonna water them in. But the most important thing is where your crown meets the roots. That's the bottom of your crown. You want that all above the soil line. So we're gonna go repeat that with the rest of them. We'll water them in. And that's pretty much it. All right, you can't see it very well, but we got all the strawberries in. They look great. Now I'm just gonna go and you will zoom in on one of them hiding right here. They look great. So I got these planted. And we have our 3 different strawberry beds. And yes, as strawberries grow, they put out runners and they expand, and you get about 2-3 good years out of them. Then you need to take out your old ones. That's okay. We have room in these beds for new ones. I know which ones are the old ones. This one over here is definitely getting like 3 years before we have to worry about that. So these 2 were planted last year, which means that I'm just letting them go and do their thing this year. And then next year I'll be potting up runners and just kind of replacing everything out. So I got plans. Oh, we got plans. And let me talk about what's going on up there. So as you may or may not have noticed, I have not watered in anything. The only thing I've done with water is soak our strawberry roots. I did that on purpose. We're getting thunderstorms in tonight and tomorrow, and the onions and potatoes that I planted yesterday, they can just sit there. They're good. They're not, gonna be desperate need of water right away. Where we are, we get a lot of rain this time of year, and I usually often plant my potatoes earlier. This is just like when they came in the mail to us and we got them chitted out and planted, and they can pretty much sit outside for a day before they get any water. Now if you're somewhere that's like super dry and it's definitely not going to rain for a while, plant all your stuff, water it in, and keep an eye on it. You don't really need to worry about watering your potatoes until you start seeing the sprouts coming up and through your mulch, and that can take anywhere from like a couple weeks to a month, depending on temperatures, how much water they're getting. Usually if we're not getting any rain, I'll give them like some water, and then I'll just leave them, let nature do what it's gonna do out here, but otherwise not like worry about them until we see a lot of growth up top. The onions have been in a more or less like dormant state probably since last year, when these companies packaged all these bulbs for sale this spring. So those are also fine, just sitting in the ground until they get rained on. Again, if you're somewhere that not gonna get rain in the next like 48 hours, give them some water. They'll sprout within a week or 2. The strawberries, I would give them water if it wasn't raining so soon. I'd say if your rain is coming in, any more than like 12-ish hours from now, any longer than that, just give them some water right now and they'll be fine. Water around the crowns for your strawberries, not on them. And also don't give them any fertilizer. I probably could have given our onions some fertilizer, maybe some bone meal, maybe some organic like 10-10-10 fertilizer. I have that. But we put so much compost in, I want the roots to go down and really like draw it up from the compost. And the strawberries, they'll be fine. Once they start sprouting, I will go ahead and put mulch all around them more thickly. I'm gonna put like a light layer around it like we did with the garlic in the onions, just to keep the ground from getting too dry. But like I said, it's gonna take 4 to 6 weeks for them to sprout. And once you start having like leaves coming in, then you can go ahead and start giving them some fertilizer. And that's my 2 cents on that. Thanks for joining us today. I hope any of this is helpful for you. If you found it helpful, please subscribe, like our video, leave a comment below if you have any questions, if there's anything else that you want to know. If you want us to keep continuing making this content for you, because we do value free education, please feel free to give us a tip. You can check out our link tree in the description below. That'll connect you to all our social media apps, websites, all that good stuff. We'll see you next week, and in time we'll be bringing these outside, but just they're so tall now. I'm really happy with them. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you.